Hi, this is Athena StarSeed, and I am so excited. I'm in Mt Shasta with one of my favorite people in the whole universe, Peter Mt Shasta. I'm so excited to see you again. I think I interviewed you about maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was on the Heaven on Earth show.
That was awesome.
And for those people on my channel who are not familiar with you, can you please tell us a little brief history about your story, how you woke up and what happened to you?
Well, I grew up in a wealthy community on the East Coast where people were pursuing fame and fortune, material abundance, and that's what I was being programmed for. But I didn't see anybody really happy around. And then I got to India and I saw people who were not abundant materially, but they seemed happy, and I could not imagine how that could be. So I started to look within for the happiness inside, and the Indian people were so kind and gracious, and the great gurus I met who lived on the side of a mountain in the Himalayas who were radiantly happy. One of them being Neem Karoli Baba. He was not living on the side of a mountain, but
back up here, Neem Karoli Baba,
known as Maharaji, with Ram Das. I hung out with that whole group for about 6 months, you know. And then when I came back from India, I was staying in Berkeley on somebody's living room floor, and I just felt like here I am back in the material world. It's like the first noble truth of Buddha is the world's not going to make you happy, you know, and it's all your attachments to things and ideals, visions, ideas, you know, possessions, ego, all that. So I'd already discovered kind of the first two noble truths of Buddhism. And but the third is that there's a path, a way out, you know, which I found in India through meditation. So one morning a ball of light came into the room and said, "Meet me at Muir Woods." And so I went out to Muir Woods, pouring rain. I was the only car in the parking lot, and make a long story short, Saint Germain materialized in front of me and offered me liberation if I wanted it, and he took me above the earth, and I saw the suffering on the earth, and my heart went out, and I said, "Okay, I'll go back." And he said, "Then I want you to work as my assistant, but first you need training. I'm sending you to Mt Shasta." And he had actually materialized in front of me in a physical body, just as solid as you're here right now, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, Star Wars. And then he said, "Now I'll show you who I am," and he changed into this master wearing a white robe, who I recognized as Saint Germain. And when I got to Mt Shasta, which happened in about 2 hours, there's some missing time in there, because that was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I got here at about 11, and it's a 5 or 6 hour drive. So the first person I saw said, "You should meet this lady Pearl," and I went to see her, and she said, "I've been expecting you," and I said,
out of the blue,
out of the blue. I'd never seen her before. And she said, "The Master Saint Germain came to me this morning and said he was sending someone to see me, and I know you're the one, you know." So I studied with her for many years, and she taught me the truth of how to find the presence within. See, all these great gurus I met in India that could materialize objects out of thin air and things like that, they never said, they never did what Pearl did. She said, "Do you want to meditate?" And I was going to sit on the floor. She said, "You don't need to sit on the floor to meditate. You don't need to cross your legs. You don't even need to close your eyes.
Wow.
Just feel the present. Turn your attention inward and feel the presence like a sun. Feel the sun there. And then say, 'I am the living light,' with your eyes open." So as we were looking at each other, we both said, "I am the living light. The presence of God in me blesses the God in you." So I'm saying, I am the presence of God blessing Tina, and you can say I am the presence of God blessing Peter, and it's just open heart sending love back and forth, you see?
I am the presence of God blessing Peter, Mount Shasta.
Or I am the goddess Athena blessing Peter.
I am the goddess
I
Athena
felt that,
blessing
I
Peter.
got that, that was powerful. So when I said, I am the living light, the whole room lit up. And I said, that's the light. I finally seen the light. You always hear, have you seen the light?
Yeah.
And I always think it's like a metaphor, like have you seen the truth or something, but there actually is a light, and that's the light of your own I am presence that comes down. It's anchored in your heart, and you can send it out. And whatever you say with I am is what you bring into being. I am love, I am health, I am being guided and directed. I am the healing presence of God, healing whoever needs to be healed. It's so miraculous, it's so simple, but so profound, But the key is in here, and what your attention is on, you become. That's why it's so important at this time not to become obsessed with the news and all the conspiracies, to realize you can create the world as a better place, or your own mind and your own heart as a better place, your own feelings, And we all need a vision to strive for something. So to hold that vision of a better world, that we're moving into that as God-conscious beings, And of course stuff will come up, things that annoy us, that anger us, but to see all those things that provoke us are part of our lesson in mastery. Like people say, I wish I could go inside Mount Shasta and study with the masters. But you can't learn there. We're learning in the world. All these things that aggravate us or push our buttons are here to teach us something. So if we could honor those people that are provoking us, to realize that which they provoke in us is something we need to purify. We need to purify our own egos, our own tendency to react to things, and to try to be more Christ-like or, Divine Mother-like in our daily interactions with each other. So it's really quite simple, but doing it is the hard part, Like remembering when you're in line and the person in front of you can't find their credit card and you're holding up the whole line. Maybe rushing through here is not the important thing. Maybe I'm here to bless people, that I can send light out to everyone in this store while I'm waiting for this woman to find her credit card, or talk to the person behind me or something like that there's a reason, and to try to be patient and be present at every moment. That's where the mindfulness comes in, to be self-conscious, of who we are and what we're doing. I'm sure you find that.
What's amazing to me is when I interviewed you, you were moving back to New York.
Oh.
And I said, no, don't leave Mount Shasta. I haven't come there yet.
Oh.
And then we had talked a couple times, and you were in New York. And then I said, if I ever go to Mount Shasta, I hope someday you come back. And then I heard that you were back.
Right, here I am.
And then my friend moved here. And she did a Water Woman event, and she invited me to come up here and sing some kirtan.
Oh, nice.
And I said, I want to see Peter Mount Shasta. And so I went to an Indian restaurant 2 nights ago, and I was singing at Sri Ram.
Yeah, beautiful.
And a couple other luminaries came in, and they were like, oh, you're singing kirtan, this and that. And I said, yes, and I want to see Peter Mount Shasta. And it was Ethan, and he knew you. And so we all got lit up and we're like, Peter Mount Shasta. And so I had texted you that night when I was with everybody. And then you texted me back, and you were so graciously available to do this interview. I feel like Saint Germain
It's meant to be, yeah.
Brought us back together.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's wonderful. He's working definitely through your life and my life, and he's working for the liberation of humanity, really.
So I was, I bought Godfrey Ray King's the three
Yeah.
beginning books.
Right.
Okay, so The Presence and
Unveiled Mysteries.
and The Treasure.
Right.
Yeah. So and Unveiled Mysteries. So I started reading those two a couple months ago. I started the first book, and 2 days straight through I read it. Then I started the second book, and I started reading, and my girlfriend immediately goes, "Oh, I just bought a piece of property there, and then I'm going to do an event there." As soon as I started reading it, all the Mount Shasta energies started calling me here.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to share with people when you said, I thought the light was a metaphor, and then you engaged with the light. Was it a feeling? Was it kinesthetic? Was it visual? Was it auditory? Was there a sound? Can you describe what you were going through?
There wasn't any sound, but there was first the feeling. Well, it's like a bulb went on in my heart. Something lit up. So this feeling of like compassion, but then visually, actually, like someone turned the light on in the room.
So everything went white?
Not white, but like someone turned the light on, it's just the room brightened up. I saw a flash of light in the room. When I said inward, I didn't say it outwardly, I said, I am the living light. But I said it with it being in tune here. Just like we're sitting here with our eyes open. Jesus said, where two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. So we're gathered in the name of the Christ, or the Spirit of the Christ. The Christ is God in you and God in me. So the God in me acknowledges the God in you. That's what namaste means. So as we do that, that light is activated, if you can see it like a ball of light, And that's the meditation Saint Germain gives in Unveiled Mysteries. Feel the light, imagine the light in your heart. You can do it with your eyes closed or open, and expand it through every cell of your body. Imagine your body is clear like a crystal, and that light is going throughout your whole body, and it's radiating out into the room, into space, out into space around the whole planet, So even one person can change the course of destiny of the planet just by being in that light, This is like, it's 2 days after Easter. Just if you say, I am the resurrection and the life.
I am the resurrection and the life.
Yeah, and feel that light is like the light that's lighting up the whole earth and everyone in it. I am the resurrection and the life of humanity.
I am the resurrection and the life of humanity.
Just feel that. That's going out to the whole planet. It's affecting everyone, Of course, the person in the next room may be dwelling on some horrible thing that they're reading on the news. So we have to counteract the energy they're putting out. But the more people who do this, the brighter it gets, And we are moving into a higher frequency. Everyone I run into now talks about it. Maybe they don't even think of it. They say, some people are freaked out by it, that the energy coming into the earth is so intense now for everyone that's open to it. But some people are freaking out, and other people are confused. It's difficult. And because it seems one part of the earth is going in one direction, another part is going in the other direction, Pearl said that there's a kind of worm which reproduces. By half of it goes down into the earth, and the other half separates and starts going along the surface of the earth. And she said humanity is doing the same thing. Part of it is going more into the darkness, part is going more into the light. So Saint Germain has assured me that those of us who are going into the light are noted and protected, and we will be guided to be at the right place at the right time. And we are moving into a higher frequency, a higher world. It says somewhere in the Bible, the old heaven and the old earth will pass away, and there will be a new heaven and a new earth.
Well, I have chills all over my body.
So we are moving into the new heaven and the new earth, So it's important to keep our vision on that, and every day we can affirm that. I am a being of light, and I am moving into the era of light. you know? And so, and there are other beings who have gone before us that are here, that are pouring out so much love to us, and they have so much compassion for us. I think when we get to that new world, we'll get a badge that says, I was on planet Earth in 2021, and people will go, oh my gosh, you were there. It's like, we are so grateful to you, you know, that we are the warriors of the light, that we came to be here at this time to go through this and help one another, you know, have compassion. And it's so important that we stay in touch with each other. Like, I'm so grateful you contacted me so we could get together and do this, because people feel cut off. And, you know, I don't like to talk about conspiracies, but that is kind of like a plan that certain beings have, is to make people feel separated and to just rely on the government for everything. And we need to take our power back, right, and know we are the light. I am the great divine director of my life and world. And the Sangha is so important. The Sangha is the community of other seekers, you know, and other masters, other Buddhas. We are all in this together, and we need to stay in touch with each other and, you know, share what's going on within ourselves, and to, you know, cheer each other up and help each other along the way to share the love, you know. So you're one of those light beings that connects people. You know, I think you call them starseeds, but in a sense we're all starseeds. We need to affirm that in each other, because we all, you know, came from the stars, and to know we're going back to that consciousness, you know. So and all of you are starseeds too. You're all beings of light. And you need to affirm, I am the living light. I am the presence of God in action, right here and now at this moment, sending light to the entire earth, raising everyone into God consciousness. I can feel that. And I feel the love coming back. There's no past, present, and future. The people who are going to see this a year from now, I see them now. We love you. May you all be blessed.
Thank you for that. That was so beautiful. I'm feeling a radiation coming through my cells in my body.
That's it.
And I feel an expansion, and I feel like I want to cry. So what is that, compassion? Like, why? Like, I don't have any reason to cry. I just
love.
feel really grateful.
The joy of love. You know, a lot of people felt that in Pearl's presence.
Yeah.
You know, see, it's so simple, and we look all over for it, but it's right there. You know. So, you know, I can say, I am the presence of Jesus the Christ, and you are the presence of the Divine Mother. And it's real. It's not just make-believe, you know. That is your God presence. That's your own soul, your own higher self. I'm just reflecting that to you. So it's, you know, God looking at God. You know, I love and honor the God in you, the God which you are. You know, the body's just a suit of clothes, you know. So it's a gift to me as well. So I see the living goddess before me, and I'm grateful. This is what Anandamayi Ma gave to me in India. She was the first person who looked at me that way. I knew she was seeing God in me. And for the next few days, I just stayed in meditation. I said, I want to see in myself what she was seeing, you know. So I hope you see in yourself, I think you are feeling it, what I am seeing in you. can share this with anyone and everyone. See, I tell people, say, I want to meditate with you, then they close their eyes, and I say, no, let's do it with the eyes open, because that way there's the sharing. You know, that's what we need to learn, is the compassion and the sharing. You know, there is a time to go in the cave and close your eyes, but there's a time to come out in the world, and I think what the world needs now is that love, the active love, you know, to serve, to get busy, and to help people feel the love and the compassion, you know. I call it being a descended master. See, everyone has the image, I'm going to
Go somewhere.
climb the mountain and find a cave, and, you know, or go into the mountain, and I'm going to ascend, and I'm going to be in the oneness, you know, nirvana. Well, nothing else will exist, just light and pure consciousness, you know. But we were there before we were born. We came here we are God expanding. God wanted to have this experience, you know, so we can help each other, you know, sort of reap the harvest. What is the lesson we came here to learn? And I think it's really the compassion, you know, and helping each other, you know, not just being in the oneness, you know.
Are you familiar with Pierre Valaya Anat Khan, the Sufi mystic?
Yeah, sure.
You
I
have,
met him, yeah.
oh, well, your
Yeah.
energy feels very much like his energy.
Thank you.
One day, mysteriously, I got mailed a photo of him accidentally, addressed to somebody else that came to my house, a real photograph. And I almost threw the mail away because it wasn't mine, but it said beautiful photo inside.
Oh.
And something told me to open it up. And there was Pierre Valaya Anat Khan.
Yeah.
And I said, well, who are you? And I went into YouTube, and he talked about the light. And I had remembered, this is after I interviewed you, you had just told me about the light that you encountered with Pearl. And he talked about the Sufis have a meditation where you see the light coming through your eyes like headlamps on a car. And the light that you shine through your eyes, you look at everything and then you see it with light, through light. And when I was staring at you just now, I like saw a little bit of Pierre Valaya Anat Khan, and I remember him saying, your light shines through the eyes.
Oh, nice. It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And through the heart, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I have to ask you, what is the significance of Mount Shasta?
Well, you know, people talk about the chakras and all that, and you know, why does a planet have the same chakras as a person? You know, this is, I don't think so. So, but it's just, if you think of the mountain range that goes down from Alaska all the way down through South America, down to Terra del Fuego, which is the land of fire, it seems like Mount McKinley, or that part would be more the crown chakra or the third eye. Terra del Fuego, land of the fire, would be the base of the spine. You know, so it seems like Mount Shasta is more aligned with the heart energy. And there have been many women teachers here. Women are brought here for training. It's been my experience. There was the head of the Zen Abbey was a woman, which kind of was the first for the Japanese culture to have a woman Roshi. And then there have been several other very powerful women in addition to Pearl, who have been trained here and sort of come into their power here. And I feel this is a place where the lady masters are raised into the balance, you know, the inner balance, and are empowered, you know, with the I am. And Pearl used to say that, well, Saint Germain told her that once the woman has found that light within, she becomes super powerful. But until that point, the energy is like the waves of the ocean, that the currents of feeling can go this way and that way, and without a focus, you know. But once you find that Christ light within,
Hear that train?
Yeah, that's
It's
the confirmation.
it's
Yeah.
confirming what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So I feel like you have that focus of the light within, but you also have the feeling, the love, the compassion, and all that. So that's the winning combination, you know. So, you know, men need to learn to get in touch with the feelings and to have the compassion and the feeling and things like that, you know. So we're all helping each other achieve that balance. But Mount Shasta is also a focal point for many of the ascended masters. And I've seen temples on the mountain, like not etheric, I mean, they are etheric, but one day my inner sight was opened and I saw them just like being in Athens and looking up and seeing the Parthenon. I wanted to stop people on the street and say, would you look at that? I saw about a dozen temples just on this side of the mountain. And I know there are people, these are places people just used to go and meditate without knowing anything was there. And they meditate there because there's some master has a focus there. You know, it doesn't, you don't actually have to come to Mount Shasta for that. The masters bring people from all over the world out of their physical body and their higher bodies. They bring them there for training. And but there are some people that do or are brought here in the physical body to have that experience, you know. So many different masters, they have different work, you know, and we're all in the ashram of a particular master, and we don't need to have contact with them on a daily basis. They're aware of us, you know, and they're helping us along the way. But anyway, yeah, so these masters have different qualities, and they're, like I said, many lady masters also.
Now, does Pearl communicate with you on a regular?
Occasionally, not on a regular basis, you know. Some people say, oh, I want to go to Mount Shasta and be with Peter and talk to the masters so I can, you know, talk to the masters every day. And I say, they don't talk to me every day. What they want us to do is learn to communicate with our own I am presence and not rely on them. But I do feel their presence, you know. But that's mostly when I'm not shouting at them, hey, what's going on? It's when I'm quiet and still, then I feel their presence, you know. But they don't usually tell me do this or that. It comes as a feeling to go somewhere or do something, you know. Except I would say 2 years ago, I was at a friend's house and I was getting ready to leave and I saw Saint Germain standing behind him, and out of the blue he said, write about Violet Tara. And I went, what?
Wow.
And all of a sudden I got in 1 second a mind transmission from him what this whole book was to be about, you know. So I went home. It took me about 4 months. It's a small book, but it took quite a while to write because it's bringing through a lot of the ancient Buddhist teachings of the Tantra, you know, which is actually harnessing the power of your imagination. That imagination is a divine quality. You can say the whole earth and all the flowers and animals were created through imagination, you know.
Wow.
So we can even create gods through imagination, you know, like Santa Claus was a god for me when I was a child. I would pray to him and I'd get what I wanted, you know. And it wasn't until people told me he wasn't real, that it was really my mother, that Santa Claus stopped existing.
You know what's interesting about that is that when my daughter's 10 and she's asking about Santa Claus, and the transmission I received was that Santa Claus is a spirit, and the Santa Claus spirit comes into people and administers the gift of giving.
Nice.
And so that spirit comes into anyone who's open to the Christ blessings.
Sure.
So that Santa Claus can be omnipresent. He can be everywhere at once because anybody that has the spirit of Christ is open to give. And then they give without expecting anything in return. You know what I'm saying? Like Santa
Yeah.
doesn't go, you owe me.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I just got you the last 10 Christmases. You owe me. No,
Yeah.
there's this unconditional loving spirit
Exactly.
that comes with Santa. And then my daughter said, well, they're saying he's not real. I don't believe it. And I was like, well, Reverence, and I was on the FaceTime with her. I said, I do believe in Santa. And don't you know, a guy pulls up to my car and gets out by the Bank of America right near my house in Sherman Oaks, and it was a Santa Claus. And I FaceTimed the Santa Claus, and I pulled his beard, and I said, this is a man who just appeared with this beard and this outfit and Santa. And I said, who are you? And he said, I'm Kris Kringle. And I said, wow, I didn't know you banked at the Bank of America. and I showed it to her, and then she was like, yes, Santa Claus is a spirit. So what are the odds of the Santa Claus popping in right when I was having the Santa Claus conversation, materializing at the Bank of America right next to my house as I was having my daughter on the FaceTime?
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
what, like, how does it happen? I don't know.
Well, in India, they might call that spirit Lakshmi, you know, and to those people, they would pray to Lakshmi, and Lakshmi gives you what you want or whatever. I was told Santa knows everything you've been doing, if you've been good or bad, you know, and you just have to pray and make a list of what you want, and Santa gives it to you. That sounds like Lakshmi. So, you know, in one culture, it's one name, in another culture, in a Native American culture, it might have been White Buffalo Woman or Wakantanka or who knows what. But it's the power of your attention and your imagination that's really a sacred quality. So what I saw, the violet Tara, you know, there's supposedly 21 Taras, and I've been initiated into the white, the red, and the green Tara practice. So it just seemed logical there would be a violet Tara. And that's like you become a violet flame angel then, working with Saint Germain as a being of violet fire, and it's extremely powerful. I had tremendous healing in my body through invoking violet Tara, so I know the reality of her. And it turns out 1,000 years ago in China, they had a being called Goddess of the Violet Mist.
Wow! I have
And
goosebumps all over my body.
Yeah.
Wow!
And you
Wow!
see-
I have goosebumps.
Yeah, when the patriarchy took over under Confucianism, and then the women were told your place is in the home and so on, they couldn't go out and do all these things they've been doing, but they could work on themselves and meditate at home, and they worked together with each other. There were certain esoteric circles of women in China who achieved the rainbow body. They became ascended masters, like maybe Kuan Yin or whatever.
Valalar from South India. He did the mantra Aruparum Jyoti Tariparum Karune. And he was 35, and he turned his body into rainbow light. And so Jyoti's light. And that mantra comes out of South India, and he was training people back then to turn their body into rainbow light.
There you go. There you go. So these women knew that. I mean, they didn't want to be out in politics anyway and
Right.
you know, running business. They leave that, the wars and all that, to the men. They can stay home and achieve liberation. And there's a story that there was one of the women that said, I want to go downtown and feed the poor in the village square. And the husband said, it's getting dark. You can't go out now. I forbid you to go out. And she just flew out the window, you know, and said, see you later. And, you know, an hour later, she came back. And he said, okay, I won't restrain you anymore. He realized, you know, the power that she had. And there were a number of women that achieved that consciousness. And this one who was kind of their patron master, they called Goddess of the Violet Mist. So I call Violet Tara that quality. And someone actually took a photograph of her from the side of Mt Shasta many years ago. They didn't know what to call her, but they said there's a master of violet fire. You could see this being was like, you know, a few hundred yards tall, a pillar of violet light, you know. And the more I call her into action, the more powerful I see her, you know. And I've had experiences, you know. Well, I hate to say this. I'm not involved with politics very much, you know. But when our previous president was in office, I was sending, you know, I call on light for who's ever president and for the Congress and everyone. So I saw myself as Violet Tara above the White House, sending violet light down into the president. And the next day, he had a press conference and he said, you know, I think violet light can heal people. And of course, the press was unmerciful. They thought he was a lunatic, whatever. I think he saw it. You know, he said, I think ultraviolet light can heal people. And of course, the press left out the part where he said it would need to be validated by scientists and doctors. But, you know, I think he never said that before or since. He said it right after I sent violet light to him. So that's the power that each of us has, you know. So, you know, I every day send violet light to the White House. You know, I knew Joe Biden. I went to college with him. I send violet light to him and pray for his well-being. You know, it doesn't mean I agree with everything, but I send it to all the Congress people, to all the governments of the earth. I call on Violet Tara to come forth and dissolve all negativity and bring purity, peace, harmony, forgiveness among all people. And each of us can do that. And that's how, you know, we'll have world peace, you know.
I want to ask you about America. So some people consider the feminine entity America, you know, the Statue of Liberty, the Lady Liberty, as an ascended master, and that this country has the opportunity and the potential to bring more light to the planet and unify, to be a beacon and a lighthouse. And how can we return to that? Is it just one person at a time and generating their own violet light?
Well, yeah, each of us wakes up to the Christ within. That will happen. And Saint Germain said in several places in the I Am Discourses, you know, volume 3 of the Saint Germain series from the Saint Germain Foundation that they published, those books. America can be the beacon to the world, but he said if, there's a big if, they can stop the force of communism that wants to destroy culture and destroy faith in God. So he said, as people wake up into the Christ and find the light within and have compassion, love, and, you know, generosity and all that, America can become the beacon. And we have had that effect, you know, but he said, as certain forces try, in every culture in ancient times, the force that has destroyed the civilization is the communist force. You can call it something else, but it's that force that wants to destroy the family, destroy the culture, destroy religion, and just make people dependent on a central government. You know, that force of whatever you want to call it, it's never worked in any government, but somehow people are suckered into it, you know. We want the government to give us everything, but that is the force that has destroyed that, and Americans need to resist that. I mean, not just Americans, everyone needs to resist that force, which is that that devalues the human, that devalues the God presence, and wants to make you a cog in a machine, you know, where you're under surveillance 24/7, and make you totally dependent on a central authority. That will never work, and it will never promote happiness on the earth, you know. People need to wake up to that. So America can be the way shower to the world if enough of us wake up, you know, and take our power back.
So I saw, I guess 15 years ago, a vision of the new earth.
Ooh.
And I saw the temples of light, and
Ooh.
I saw the cities of light,
Ooh.
and I saw the new earth.
Ooh.
And so then later somebody showed me a Hopi prophecy where on the rock it splits, humanity
Yes,
goes up or they go down. So I'm wondering, will there be parallel dimensions where somebody actually is going to live in this lower world and we're going to be in a higher world, or does everything collapse into oneness and everything goes up into the higher world? Because I saw 1,000 years of peace, and then people were telling me, well, that's been written about, that's been written about, that's been written about. And so for me, that's true. Are you receiving the same information from Saint Germain or from Pearl, that's why you're still here? Because you completed your karma and you could have transcended.
Well, I feel that there is, like Pearl said with that earthworm, you know, that it's splitting. There will be those who go into the light and go into that new world, you know, where there are temples of light. And I've seen that, you know, I've seen them, that there are various places around the world where they exist. The Tibetans have a word for that, Bayul, I think.
Okay.
That there's certain hidden protected valleys or places
Shambhala?
that are Shambhala. You know, I think of Shambhala as the center of the earth, but there are also other Shambhalas on the surface that are in, you know, one of them is out here north of Mount Shasta. The Saint Germain showed me there's a whole city of light out there. And so our consciousness is being raised, our vibration is raised. Every time we tune into the light, our vibration is raised, so we'll be able to walk out there. You know, like one day you could walk out your door and see a whole nother reality, temples and things that weren't there before.
The Bible says it happens in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, really, it says that.
That's what they say, the blink of an eye.
Yeah, there will be a new heaven and a new earth. And those people that don't resonate with that frequency, then they have to live out what their projection is, you know.
So it is important what you imagine.
Oh, totally. You know, we're at the beginning. Most scientists talk about the sixth planetary extinction that is underway. The last one was 55 million years ago when the dinosaurs died out. In the last 40 years, 50% of the species on the Earth have disappeared.
Whoa!
In 40 years, you know. Or was it 50 years? I don't remember. What, anyway, but a very quick period of time. And and also the Pleiadians have said also that there are many civilizations on many planets that have destroyed themselves, you know. And they will not let the earth destroy itself, but they can only interfere so much. There's certain people need to learn their lessons, you know, and we don't need to go that route or into that world. That's why it's so important not to become obsessed by the news and think we're going to jump in the middle of it and straighten everything out. We have to straighten ourselves out.
Right.
And, you know, keep our attention on the light and trust that there is a plan for us, you know.
Yeah. God says, I know the plans I have for you, the plans to prosper you and not to harm you.
Exactly.
Jeremiah 29:11.
Ah.
Yeah. So beautiful. So since I saw you last, you wrote 4 new books?
I think so. One of them actually is based on the Gospel of Matthew.
Oh, wonderful. Can't wait to get that one.
Yeah, Jesus, I am the living Christ. One day Jesus appeared and he said, I want you to restore this gospel to some of its original power, these I am phrases that he uses, you know, that he wanted those emphasized. And also, instead of calling on God the Father, it's the Father, Mother, God.
Thank you for that.
So I put that in there. It's basically the Gospel of Matthew with those adjustments and emphasizing, you know, I am the kingdom of heaven within, and, you know, and when he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, he doesn't mean worship him personally. It's, you know, the I am within you. I am is the way, the truth, and the life, you know. things like that. So that's one book. And then, let's see, there was, what are the other ones?
The Violet.
Violet Tara.
Violet Tara.
Violet Tara, Goddess of Forgiveness and Freedom. And then the second Violet Tara book, I Am Violet Tara in Action.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of a handbook for mastery.
Uh-huh.
And then there's one, it's sort of short stories. It's called It Is What It Is.
Thank you for that.
It's the most fun book, and there's a funny story about that. They're just kind of vignettes of experiences that I've had over the last 50 years being in Mount Shasta. That, you know, part of it I was flying a plane and just interesting experiences that I had. And they don't sort of flow chronologically, but they're funny, some of them. It's the easiest to read. It's kind of a light book, you know. But I kept changing the title. I said, I can't use It Is What It Is. That seems like a silly title. So I had finished the book, and I was just kind of getting ready to proofread it, and I was still stuck on the title. And I came out of the Seven Sons Cafe here, and I was, you know, again, I've been thinking about this title, and this young guy walked past me, turned around, and said, "It is what it is." And then he disappeared into thin air. He just dematerialized. So.
It's so funny. I just love that because I think of isness, like when you're completely detached and you don't have it is good, it is bad, then you're like, wow, it is what it is, and your ability to shine light on what is gives you your blessings or your suffering.
See, it's actually very profound. I think I heard Eckhart Tolle talking about when you meditate, don't try to figure something out or make something happen or go over what did happen, or try to just, you know, be in the now and take responsibility. This is what's happening. You know, it is what it is. I'm here as a result of previous actions, and other things are going to happen later, but I have to deal right now with what's here. So, you know, you're not in heaven now, you're not in, you're right here. It is what it is. Take responsibility for it. Deal with it. You know what I mean? And, you know, people say, well, you had a wrong punctuation mark in this sentence, or there's something, and I had 6 people proofread that book, and there's still an error in it. I don't have time to create another edition of the book right now, so it is what it is. It's still helping people. Don't feel guilty about it, you know? That's the thing. Don't feel guilty. I'm kind of like to be a perfectionist, but so for him to say that to me was perfect. Peter, it is what it is. Get on with your life, you know? You're still doing good, even if there was, you know, a comma where there should have been a semicolon, you know?
Right.
It's still helping people, so it is what it is. Get on with your life and do something else, you know? So,
right. So beautiful. Have you ever done any meditation retreats with people where you take them to the mountain and you sit with them?
I have in the past, and there's actually one blessing from all of this COVID thing is that it's really pushed me online to do online programs. It would be nice in the future, you know, but you know it's so hard for people to travel now, and it's so expensive, and you know maybe you can have 40 people in a room, but you know when you're on Zoom you can have 1,000 or whatever people. Yeah. And it's less expensive and so on. So, and it's amazing what comes through on the video also, you know?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of your videos, and each time I just feel so much love and compassion. If I'm ever sad or depressed and I need a little Peter Mt Shasta hit, I go to YouTube and I find Peter Mt Shasta. Please subscribe to his channel. It's such a blessed vibe, and you meditate with us. Usually at the end of each one of those, you'll take people into the presence of the I Am and meditate with us. And for me, that's just like such a gift, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
I was wondering if you maybe at the end could do that with us.
Sure. Would you like? Well, we were sort of doing it before, you and me, but we could do it with.
Let's do it with everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so I turn this.
Okay.
So let's just, I do it with my eyes a little bit open,
Okay.
and spine straight. You can put your hands on your knees or in your lap, whatever is convenient, or together like this.
Oh, I like that.
This is kind of closes the energy circuit.
Okay.
And just feel your breathing, the rise and fall of your chest. You can put the tip of your tongue against the roof of your mouth. That completes another energy circuit. And you just feel the breathing, and that slows down the mind. You just let go of everything. Forget about the future, the past. Don't try to figure anything out. Just be here now. And just feel that breathing. And know that is God breathing through you. You could not take a breath without God. And if a thought comes up, just label it thought and come back to the breath. And gradually your mind will slow down. And you will be in the stillness. Then you can ask, what am I? What is the I? The I that I am. And you realize that the person you thought you were is only one small fraction of who you are. You can call it the ego, the lower self, the mind, whatever you want. And you can observe it working. You can see the thoughts that go through it. And know that is not me, that is only a dream. Who is observing those thoughts? There is a greater mind, a greater consciousness. And I choose to be in that consciousness rather than identify with my personality. It's okay to have a personality, but you can cleanse it so it serves you. It's just a vehicle like your car that you can get into for some purpose to go somewhere, then you can park it and step out of it and be your true self again. And just know, I am that I am that I am. And the more you practice this, the more you will become it. can make that meditation longer if you want. You could insert 5 minutes of space in there or whatever. But
Thank you.
this has been beautiful.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
present.
you. Thank you, Tina.
And thanks so much for coming back to Earth.
Thank you. Oh yeah.
And not deciding to take your
It's like saying you still got work to do
you
here.
still have work to do, yeah. So I love you so much. And I just want to ask each and every one of you, if you like this interview, please subscribe to Peter Mt Shasta's YouTube channel and definitely check out some of his books. They're amazing. I'm going to go ahead and get all 4 of them. If I can, I can follow you back and purchase those or order them online.
Yeah, I don't have them with me.
How do I get them?
Well, Soul Connections
Soul Connections!
has them.
And
Yeah.
online, if somebody wants to buy them, how do they get them? Amazon?
Amazon, or they can download or something.
It was Blessings and Light, but we're not there yet. So everybody stay tuned. We love you. Thank you so much.